Hey everybody, my name's Isabel. I've been meaning to make a YouTube video like this for a while now, but just with time and everything going on, procrastinated, felt embarrassed, like should I not? But I figured now would be a wonderful time to bring more light onto mental health and just more insight on what it's like living with mental health and that we all have things that we could do better. We all have things that we could work on to do better and be better for ourselves and those around us. That's probably my biggest mantra right now. Um, just because how you treat others and what you do in your everyday life really does have a lasting impact. Um, so that's one of the things that I find really important. And before anything else, I apologize for the background. This was kind of like a spur in the moment thing, so I didn't really prepare, but I figured whatever, this is the mess that is my life right now, which is fine because I'll clean it up afterwards. But I just wanted to get this boost that I had onto a video. So, and then another thing before I start, Happy New Year. I wish you all an amazing new year filled with a lot of success, happiness, love, tranquility, and most of all, hope. I really hope that we all find hope within ourselves and in our lives because I feel like that's really important. And obviously, remain in good health because we really are all in this together, which is, I find, one of the most comforting things, especially during quarantine, where you think we're all kind of faced with our solitude. We had to be with ourselves for prolonged periods of time, deal with our roommates, deal with our families that we live with. I mean, it was a lot. Um, and maybe you're working from home and you find that you like working from home. You don't want to go back to the office. And just things like that. It's like a blessing in disguise. It's like the break that we didn't know that we needed, I think personally. Because if you're anything like me, one thing I did not face before 2020 was myself. And I kind of just got used to the grind of life, which is just going to work every day, always having plans after work, and never really being home unless I had to hit the bed and go to sleep. Um, so it really, I couldn't really make plans with my friends during quarantine. That was really hard, whether it was, I mean, I know we all had like Zoom happy hours, FaceTimes with your friends, so, socially distance lunch or dinner, but it's not the same. It really isn't. Um, but so that's one thing I feel like we should bring light on is we are all in this together. Um, and we all can get through this together also, which I think is a beautiful thing. As long as we keep wearing our masks, washing our hands, and taking other precautions, of course. So I guess I'm just going to get right into it. One big thing that really changed my life in 2020, it was late 2020, a couple months ago. I mean, this whole year has taken a toll on everybody. And you kind of had to face the uncomfortable. I mean, being with yourself. And you're finding that maybe some of your personal issues are manifesting in your job, with a coworker you may have had an argument with, and in your romantic relationships and your friendships, just with people around you. If you don't deal with your crap is going to catch up to you, and it's going to find ways to manifest in your everyday life, which just makes it hard to function properly on a day-to-day basis, which is why I feel, which is important to my story that I'm going to share in a few moments. And just how to prioritize yourself. That's so important. You're always first, and you deserve to be first in your life. You really do. So one of the things that I faced in 2020, I had just gone through a very overwhelming periods of times. I would experience just really overwhelming emotions, and it was very hard to deal with. And I would kind of just mask all my feelings, go to work, act like nothing happened, go to sleep, and just do it all over again. Go out with my friends like I was all giddy and happy. But inside, I mean, I was a mess. I was miserable. And nobody wants to face that. I mean, it's really uncomfortable. You don't want to come to terms with asking yourself, am I depressed? I mean, there are so many people that are depressed right now who have been depressed, and it's heartbreaking. Depression can feel debilitating. There were times I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't want to move. I couldn't talk. I just felt numb. And sometimes it's not. You can't point your finger and be like, this is the thing that made me depressed. No, it's kind of just like a lot of things that you've just kind of put under the rug, and they all kind of catch up to you. And uncovering that is the most important part. So how I could uncover those things, a couple months ago, I got admitted to a mental hospital by the therapist that I'm seeing. And I mean, this was horrifying for me. I didn't want to go, obviously. Who wants to go to a mental hospital willy-nilly? Not me. Um, and I did not want to go. I did not want to go. I was so against it in my head. I was just like, no, this is what crazy people do. Like, I'm not crazy. I'm Isabel. I'm normal. And just like a side of craziness with my crazy emotions. But it was something I never imagined that I would have to go. Because I only thought that severely ill people went there. And yes, I did meet a lot of people when I was there that had such severe mental issues, and it was really sad. But I got to talk to a lot of them, and a lot of them are just like us. I mean, they are us. We're all so complex, and all of us experience different things in our lives. We're really all very different, and it's so important to embrace our differences and come together. I think that's amazing. But anyways, back to my story. So my therapist had told me, like, you have to go to the mental hospital. You have no choice. I'm giving you this opportunity, and I feel like it'd be a great way to work on yourself and kind of just put everything else on pause right now. And at first, my first thought, I was like, but I have work tomorrow. I was like, I can't miss work. Like, that I have to get paid. I need money. I don't want them to be a person short. And my therapist was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're telling me you have work tomorrow and that's why you can't go to that's why you can't take care of yourself? And I was like, yeah, I need money. Like, I have a job I have to go to. And she was like, that is ridiculous. She was like, no. Like, she was like, forget about work. If you want to get back to work, you're going here first because you have to get yourself straight. And I was like, okay. I definitely didn't not want to go. I was very upset when I went. Because it's not fun going, and you kind of have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, which is everything that is not surface level. Everything that we think about when no one's around, everything we think about ourselves when we're alone. That's something that it was hard to just deal with that when I was there. They take away your phone. So I didn't have my phone, which I had used a clutch before in previous times. I would text my friends like, oh, let's hang out. I don't like feeling like this. Let's just do something. Or my family, I would call up my family and just chat with them, which I feel like are all healthy coping mechanisms. But for me, it had just gotten to a point where it was too much. So it was really weird being there without my phone. I had the urge to text people. And it was just me, a pen, and a journal. And all I had was my journal to write in. And just sit there with my thoughts, which was so scary. I was just like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I want to deal with it later. Like, can I just put this under the rug and just go to work like everything's fine? But that's the thing. I'm pretty sure this exact day I went to work. It was a normal day. I was fine at work. And I didn't know I was going to like have a breakdown after work. It literally just happened. And that's the thing, when you try to just cover up these emotions, because when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling sad, your body is literally giving you a signal, like, we need to focus or work on something. Like, and you're just like putting yourself kind of like on autopilot, like, no, we have to go to work, we have to make that money, we have to hang out with our friends to feel better. And I had done that for a really long time, and oftentimes it did work, but then in the long run, I never really dealt with the demons that were in my head at all. So that's something that was very scary to go through. Um, but I met so many amazing people there that had been there multiple times. They had this had been like one of several attempts for them to take their lives, and that was really horrible to listen to. I mean, there were people younger than I was, and I'm 22. There were teenagers there, and it was really difficult to experience, because you talk to these people, and because my first initial thought was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to deal with some crazy people there. And yes, there were some people who had a lot of mental illness issues going on that they were there to get help for, just like I was. But you talk to these people and you see, like for me, I had a roommate. She was 18. She had tried to commit suicide multiple times, and obviously there were failed attempts. And I was talking to her. She was one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. Such a big personality, and she became one of my best friends there. And we still keep in touch to this day. But it's like, because if somebody told you that they had tried to kill themselves, like my first initial thought was just like, you're so amazing. Like you have so much life to live. And it's just not worth it. And it's just, it's hard to hear, because you're not gonna know how some people feel. And that's why I'm very big on spreading positivity too. Just smiling at people, being nice to people. Like I said, everything we do, it impacts us and other people around us every day. And I am so big on that. And it's just all we can do during this time is be there for each other. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things that we can do, is just support one another. And another thing, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's one of the main things that helped me. For so long, I hadn't put myself first. And it's because I didn't want to deal with what was up here, what was going on up there. And I finally went on medication. I'm taking Lexapro. It's an antidepressant. I take 10 milligrams. And whether you're a fan of meds or not, they can be life-changing for some people, and like just the worst thing ever for other people. But for me personally, it has changed my entire life, and I couldn't imagine sitting here today and telling you how great I feel today if it weren't for not just me making conscious efforts to make my life better, but it definitely gives me a boost and takes away, I would say the biggest thing, it takes away like the physical sensations that I would get with anxiety, or like when I feel depressed. My heart would feel like it was throbbing. I feel like I would have like a pit in my stomach, or like shaking. So it really helped with that. But definitely talk to your doctor before you even decide to get on medication, because that's really important to consult, to have that whole consultation first. And I wanted to also bring light onto therapy. Therapy takes great courage, strength, and overall humility, which I feel like a lot of people nowadays, it's hard for them to be kind of be honest with themselves. I feel like a lot of people can be very prideful. And going to therapy, you really have to be willing to just kind of lay it all out on the table. And you don't have to have severe mental health issues to see a therapist. You could just see a therapist just to have someone to check in with every week. It's just, my biggest thing is just like, you constantly are learning how to improve yourself and improve your life, and therapy helps so much with that. I mean, we only have one life to live, so might as well live it right. That's my mantra. So, that's all I can think of for right now. I'm sure I'll have a lot of other things to say, but I kind of just, this was just kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I didn't make a list or anything, but maybe if I decide to make a next video, it'll definitely be more organized. But if you've made it this far and you watched the whole thing, I really appreciate it. It means so much to me. And I'll leave my contact information, like my social media, below. So if you'd like to connect with me or anything, that would be great. But I hope you all have an amazing night, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.